I was 16 years old, standing outside the Ford dealership on Woodward Avenue, my breath fogging up the glass as I stared at that cobalt blue Mustang GT under the showroom lights. The way those LEDs reflected off the hood, the curve of the body, the promise of freedom, sitting on four wheels. I made myself a promise that night. One day I would own one. My father stood behind me, hands in his pockets, and said cars like that were not for people like us. 10 years later, when I finally had the money, he said something else. Something that hurt a whole lot more. Before we get into how I ended up taking my own father to court, let me know in the comments where you are watching this from. If this story resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe, because what I am about to share might just change how you think about family money and standing up for yourself. Trust me, you will want to stick around for how this battle played out in a real courtroom. Growing up in the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan, I learned early that dreams were luxuries we could not afford. My father, Gerald, worked at the automotive plant for 30 years. Same shift, same lunch break, same steel toe boots that he would leave by the front door every evening. He was a man who believed in practicality, above all else. No frills, no fantasies, just work bills and survival. My mother, Dorothy, was the quiet type. She would hum while doing dishes, avoided confrontation like it was a disease, and always deferred to whatever my father decided. I was their only child, which meant every bit of their attention, control, and expectation fell squarely on my shoulders. Money was always tight. Not poverty level, but that uncomfortable middle ground, where you have enough to get by, but never enough to breathe. My father controlled every penny that came in and out of that house. I had to ask permission to buy a candy bar. When I turned 16 and wanted to get my driver's license, he made me wait 6 months because he said I had not earned it yet. Earned what I never quite understood. But that was life with Gerald. Everything was conditional. Everything required approval. That is when I started working. I got a part-time job at a car wash on 8 Mile Road. $8.50 an hour, working weekends and evenings after school. The work was brutal. Summer heat made the pavement feel like it was melting under my sneakers. Winter cold turned the water into ice on my hands. But every paycheck felt like a tiny rebellion. I opened my own savings account at the Wells Fargo down the street from school. The bank teller, a woman named Mrs. Patterson, smiled when I deposited my first check. $73.40. It felt like $1 million. My father was not happy. He said I should contribute to the household, that family came first. So I compromised. I gave him 20% of each paycheck and told him that was all I made. The rest went into my account. It felt wrong lying to him, but something told me if he knew I was saving for that Mustang, he would find a way to stop me. Call it intuition. Call it survival instinct. Whatever it was, it kept me going. By the time I turned 17, I had $3,200 saved. I picked up a second job at a grocery store, stocking shelves overnight twice a week. My grades suffered a bit, but I graduated. My friends were going to parties, dating, living their teenage years. I was working, saving, dreaming about the sound of a V8 engine. People thought I was crazy. Maybe I was, but that dream was mine. The only thing in my life that was truly mine. When I turned 20, I had $18,000. I was feeling bold, feeling proud. One evening at dinner, fried chicken and mashed potatoes, I told my parents about my plan. I had been researching Mustangs for years. I knew every model, every trim level, every option package. I wanted the GT, the real deal, 450 horsepower, manual transmission. I could picture myself behind that wheel. My father stopped chewing. He set down his fork and stared at me like I had just spoken a foreign language. What did you say, a Mustang? Are you out of your mind? Those cars are for show-offs, for people who do not understand the value of money. His voice was cold, controlled. That was worse than yelling. Yelling I could handle. This quiet disapproval felt like a knife. He said I should buy something practical. A Honda Civic, a Toyota Corolla, something that gets good gas mileage and does not draw attention. I tried to explain that this was not about being practical. This was about a promise I made to myself. 10 years of work. 10 years of sacrifice. He cut me off. Dreams do not get you anywhere, Leopold. Reality does. You want to waste $50,000 on a car that will lose half its value the moment you drive it off the lot. Then you are dumber than I thought. My mother said nothing. She never did. I looked at her, hoping for some support, some sign that she understood. She just kept eating eyes on her plate. That night, I decided I would never share my plans with him again. I would save in silence. And when the time came, I would buy that car without asking anyone's permission. 6 more years passed. I worked my way up at the electronics store where I had been hired as a sales associate. By 26, I was an assistant manager making $45,000 a year. Combined with my savings and careful budgeting, I watched that account grow. $50 here, $100 there. Tax refunds, birthday money, from my grandmother before she passed. Every cent went into that account. I lived in a cheap apartment, drove a beat-up Civic I bought for $1,500, ate ramen more nights than I care to admit. But the number kept climbing. March of this year, I checked my account balance and saw it. $50,217. I sat in my car in the bank parking lot and just stared at my phone screen. 10 years. It took 10 years. I was 26 years old, and I had done it, all by myself. No help, no handouts, just sweat and stubbornness. I contacted a dealer, found the exact car I wanted. A Mustang GT Premium, in race red. Black leather interior. Performance package. Everything I had dreamed about. We set an appointment for the following Saturday. I would go in, sign the papers, and drive away in my car. My car. Thursday evening, 2 days before my appointment, I was sitting on my couch, scrolling through Mustang forums, when I decided to check my account one more time, just to make sure everything was ready for the transfer. I logged in. My stomach dropped. The screen showed $247.83. I thought it was a glitch. I refreshed. Same number. I checked the transaction history. There it was. One withdrawal. $49,752.17. Tuesday afternoon. At the branch location. Not online. Someone had walked into the bank and taken my money. My hands started shaking. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I grabbed my phone and called the bank's customer service line. The automated voice felt like it was mocking me. Press 1 for account balances. Press 2 for recent transactions. I pressed 0 until I got a human being. The representative, polite but detached, confirmed what I already knew. The transaction was legitimate. Someone with proper identification and authorization had withdrawn the funds. I told her that was impossible. I had not withdrawn anything. She said I would need to come in tomorrow morning to speak with a manager and file a fraud report. They would pull the security footage. I did not sleep that night. I sat on my couch, staring at the wall, trying to figure out who could have done this. My debit card was in my wallet. My identification was in my wallet. Nobody had access to my account except me. Unless. Friday morning I was at the bank when they unlocked the doors. The manager, a man in his 50s named Gregory, took me into a private office. He pulled up the security footage from Tuesday on his computer. I watched the screen. A man walked up to the teller window. Average height. Wearing a baseball cap and a jacket I recognized. My father, Gerald. My own father. He handed over identification. The teller checked something on the computer, asked him to sign something, and then counted out stacks of cash, $50,000 in hundreds, right there on the counter. My father put it in a bag and walked out. I could not breathe. Gregory was saying something about how the system flagged the address as matching mine, how my father must have accessed my information somehow. I was not listening. My father, the man who raised me, the man who taught me about hard work and responsibility. He had stolen from me. He had taken 10 years of my life and walked out of a bank with it in a gym bag. Gregory asked if I wanted to file a police report. I said yes. No, I do not know. I needed to talk to him first. I needed to hear him say it to my face. I drove to my parents' house, the same house I grew up in, the same driveway where I learned to ride a bike, the same front door I walked through 1,000 times. I used my key and went inside. My father was sitting in his recliner watching television, some news program. He glanced up when I walked in. "Hey, you are here early." Like nothing was wrong. Like he had not just destroyed me. "Where is my money?" I asked. My voice was shaking. He looked back at the television. I needed it. Just like that. 3 words. I needed it. Needed it for what I was yelling now. I did not care. $50,000, Dad. 10 years of my life. "Where is it?" He stood up, and for the first time, I saw something in his eyes. Not guilt, not shame, defensiveness. I invested it. My buddy Rick is starting a business. Auto parts distribution. He needed capital, and this was a good opportunity. The return on investment is going to be substantial. You will get your money back, probably even more. He said it like he was doing me a favor. Like I should thank him. "You stole from me." Those words hung in the air. He flinched. "I did not steal. You are my son. What is yours is the family's. That is how it works. We help each other." I felt something inside me break. Not my heart. Something deeper. The last thread of respect I had for him snapped. "I want my money back. Now." He shook his head. "It is already in the business. I cannot just pull it out. You will have to wait. Maybe a year or 2. I stepped closer. "I am not waiting. You are going to get my money back, or I am going to the police." He laughed. Actually laughed. "You are not going to do that. I am your father. You think you are going to call the cops on me? Go ahead. Tell them your dad tried to help you invest your money wisely instead of blowing it on some ridiculous car." That is when he said it. "What are you even planning to do with that money? Buy that stupid Mustang you have been obsessing over since you were a kid. Grow up, Leopold. The real world does not work that way." I tried to stay calm. "That Mustang is my dream. I earned that money." "You had no right." He cut me off. "Shut up. You are not buying a Mustang." His voice filled the whole house. My mother appeared in the doorway, hands wringing together, but she said nothing. As usual. I looked at him. This man who was supposed to protect me, guide me, support me. And I saw a stranger. Someone who thought he could control me forever. Someone who believed his plans for my life mattered more than my own. I spoke quietly. "If you do not return my money within 24 hours, I am filing a lawsuit. You are going to take me to court over money. I am trying to multiply for you." He could not believe it. "Yes, and I am going to win." I walked out before he could respond. I got in my car, drove back to my apartment, and did not cry. I was too angry to cry. That afternoon I searched for lawyers in Detroit who handled financial theft and family disputes. I found Sarah Thompson. Her website said she specialized in civil litigation fraud cases and had experience with familial financial crimes. I called her office, explained the situation in brief, and she agreed to meet with me Monday morning. The consultation fee was $200. I paid it with what little I had left. Sarah's office was in a building downtown, professional but not flashy. She was in her early 40s, sharp eyes, the kind of person who listened more than she talked. I told her everything. The 10 years of saving, the secret account, the theft, the confrontation. She took notes, asked questions about documentation, asked if I had any proof that the account was solely mine. I did. My name was the only name on it. I had opened it as a minor with my mother as a custodian, but that had been removed when I turned 18. Every deposit was from my paychecks, my accounts. My father had no legal access. Sarah leaned back in her chair. "This is theft, plain and simple." Michigan law is clear. Unauthorized access and withdrawal of funds is larceny. The fact that he is your father does not change that legally. However, you have two options. You can file a criminal complaint which could result in him being arrested and charged, or you can file a civil lawsuit to recover the funds. Most people in your situation choose civil first because it avoids putting a family member in jail, but that is your call. I thought about it. I did not want my father in prison. I just wanted my money back. Civil lawsuit. She nodded. Retainer is $3,000. I will need it up front. I will handle the filing, the evidence gathering, and representation in court. I borrowed money from my best friend Marcus. He was the only person who understood. He had met my father a few times and always said something felt off about him. Too controlling, too rigid. Marcus handed me a check without hesitation. Pay me back when you win. Not if. When. I hired Sarah that day. We started building the case. Bank statements, screenshots of my account history, the security footage from the bank, text messages where I had confronted my father. Everything that proved this was my money, and he had taken it without permission. The next few days were brutal. My mother called crying. You cannot do this to your father. We are a family. Families do not sue each other. I told her he should have thought about that before stealing from me. She said I was being cruel, that I did not understand how much pressure he was under. Pressure. I worked 2 jobs for 10 years. Where was the concern for my pressure? She hung up. My uncle called. My aunt called. Cousins. I had not heard from in years. Suddenly had opinions. How could you betray your own blood? Do you know what this is going to do to your mother? Your father is a good man. You are being selfish. I stopped answering calls from numbers I recognized. At work, word got around. Some co-workers were supportive. Others whispered. One guy, someone I thought was a friend, said I was making a big deal out of nothing. It is just money. You will make more. Family is forever. I wanted to punch him. Instead, I walked away. Marcus kept checking in. How you holding up? Honestly terrible. I felt like the entire world was against me. But every time I thought about giving up, I remembered that moment in the bank, watching my father walk out with my life's work in a bag. No, I was not backing down. Sarah filed the lawsuit in Wayne County Circuit Court. The complaint listed conversion, unjust enrichment, and breach of fiduciary duty as the claims. We were seeking the full $50,000 plus interest, court costs, and attorney fees. The total came to $57,700. Gerald was served the papers at his home. My mother called me sobbing. You really did it. You really sued your own father. Yes, Mom, I really did. She hung up without another word. Gerald hired a lawyer, Donald Pierce, an older guy probably close to 70, who had been practicing law since before I was born. Sarah said he was competent, but old school. He would try to argue that this was a family matter, not a legal one. That is exactly what he did. In his response to our complaint, Donald claimed that Gerald had taken the money in good faith, believing it was for the family's benefit, and that there was an implied agreement that family resources were shared. It was absurd, but it was his defense. The discovery process took months. Depositions, document requests, interrogatories. I had to sit across a table from Donald Pierce and answer questions while a court reporter typed every word. He asked about my relationship with my father, whether I had ever contributed to household expenses, whether I had ever benefited from my father's income. I answered everything honestly. Yes, I lived under his roof until I was 22. Yes, he provided food and shelter. But no, that did not give him the right to steal from me. Donald tried to make me look ungrateful. Sarah objected at every turn. Gerald's deposition was worse. I was not allowed in the room, but Sarah told me about it afterward. He admitted to taking the money. He admitted he did not ask permission. But he insisted it was for my own good, that I would have wasted it, that he was trying to teach me about real investment. When asked where the money was now, he claimed it was tied up in Rick's business and could not be liquidated immediately. Sarah pressed him. "Did you sign any documents? Any contracts?" "Nothing. It was a handshake deal between friends." That was a problem for him. It meant there was no legal structure, no way to prove the money was recoverable. He had essentially given my $50,000 to someone with no guarantee of return. 3 months after filing, we went to trial. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Wood paneling, high ceilings, the kind of place that smelled like old paper and anxiety. Judge Janet Reeves presided. She was in her late 50s. No nonsense, known for being fair but tough. Sarah and I sat at one table. Gerald and Donald sat at the other. My father would not look at me. My mother sat in the gallery, tissues in her hand. Sarah presented our case first. She walked the judge through the timeline. My opening the account at 16. Every deposit over 10 years. The fact that Gerald's name was never on the account. The security footage of him withdrawing the funds. The text messages where he admitted to taking the money. She argued that this was textbook conversion. Unauthorized taking of someone else's property with the intent to deprive them of it. The fact that Gerald claimed good intentions was irrelevant. Theft was theft. Donald Pierce stood up for his defense. He painted a picture of a concerned father trying to guide his irresponsible son. He talked about family values, about how in many cultures, children's earnings belong to the parents. He suggested that Leopold was being influenced by greed and materialism, that a Mustang was a symbol of everything wrong with my generation. Judge Reeves stopped him. "Counselor, Michigan law does not care about your opinion on sports cars. Does your client dispute that he withdrew the funds without authorization?" Donald hesitated. "No, Your Honor, he does not dispute that. But he believed he had implicit permission as the father." The judge frowned. "Implicit permission requires evidence of an agreement. Do you have any?" Donald did not. The questioning began. Judge Reeves asked Gerald directly. "Mr. Gerald, did you ask your son for permission before withdrawing his money?" "No, Your Honor. But I am his father. That does not matter." "Did you have any legal right to access that account?" "No, but I thought I was helping him. Helping him by taking his money without asking. Your Honor, I was trying to teach him about investment." Judge Reeves leaned forward. "You were trying to teach him about investment by stealing $50,000 and giving it to a friend in an undocumented handshake deal." Gerald had no answer. The trial lasted 1 day. At the end, Judge Reeves did not hesitate. "I find for the plaintiff Leopold, this is a clear case of conversion. Mr. Gerald had no legal right to access or withdraw funds from an account that was not his. His intentions, whether good or bad, are irrelevant. The law protects individuals' property rights, even from family members. Mr. Gerald is ordered to return the full amount of $50,000 to Leopold, plus $4,200 in accrued interest based on market rates, plus $3,500 in attorney fees and court costs. Total judgment, $57,700. Payment is due within 30 days. I sat there in that courtroom and felt nothing. Not joy, not relief, just emptiness. My father walked out without looking at me. My mother followed him crying. Sarah squeezed my shoulder. "You did it. You won." But it did not feel like winning. 30 days later, the money appeared in my account. $57,700. I do not know how my father got it. Maybe he borrowed from his retirement. Maybe he sold things. Maybe Rick actually came through with some of the investment money. I did not ask. I did not care. The money was back. That was all that mattered legally. The next day I drove to the Ford dealership, the same one on Woodward Avenue where I had stood as a 16-year-old kid. I walked in and told the salesman I was ready to buy. We went through the paperwork. I chose the Mustang GT Premium in race red. 450 horsepower. 6-speed manual transmission. Black leather interior with red stitching. Performance package. With upgraded brakes. and suspension. Exactly what I had dreamed about for 10 years. I signed the papers. I handed over the cashier's check, and they gave me the keys. I sat in the driver's seat. The leather smelled new. The steering wheel felt perfect in my hands. I turned the key, and the engine roared to life. That sound, that deep, throaty V8 rumble. I had imagined it 1,000 times, but hearing it in real life, feeling the vibration through the seat was different. I drove off the lot slowly, carefully. I took the surface streets instead of the highway. I wanted to feel every gear, change every bit of acceleration. This was mine. I earned it. Nobody could take it from me. But as I drove, something felt off. I thought I would feel ecstatic, triumphant. Instead, I just felt tired, sad even. I had won the legal battle. I had my car. But I had lost something too. Maybe it was the illusion that family would always have your back. Maybe it was the innocence of believing your parents would never hurt you on purpose. I do not know. All I knew was that the victory felt hollow. 2 months passed. I did not talk to my father. My mother sent text messages occasionally. "How are you doing?" "Are you eating enough?" I responded briefly. "I am fine, Mom." I know she was stuck in the middle. I did not blame her for my father's actions, but I also could not pretend everything was okay. It was not okay. It might never be okay. One evening my phone rang. It was my father. I stared at the screen for a long time before answering. "Hello." His voice was rough, like he had been crying, or maybe just tired. "Leopold, I just wanted to say that I am sorry. I did not know how to respond." He continued. "I was wrong. I should not have taken your money. I thought I was doing the right thing, helping the family, helping you. But I hurt you, and I am sorry." I sat in silence. Part of me wanted to yell. Part of me wanted to hang up. But another part, a small part, appreciated that he finally said it. "I need time, Dad. A lot of time. I understand." He hung up. I started seeing a therapist. Dr. Williams, a woman in her 50s, who specialized in family trauma. She helped me work through the anger, the betrayal, the grief, because it was grief. I was mourning the relationship I thought I had with my father. She taught me about boundaries, about how love does not mean letting people hurt you, about how protecting yourself is not selfish, it is survival. Slowly I started to heal. I moved into a new apartment downtown, bigger windows, better neighborhood. I got promoted to manager at the electronics store by the end of the year. Life went on. I joined a Mustang club, met people who shared my passion for cars. Every weekend, I would drive out to the countryside, windows down, music up, just feeling the freedom. The car was not just a car anymore. It was proof that I could stand up for myself, that I could win. My relationship with my father remained complicated. We talked occasionally, short conversations, surface level. "How is work? How is the car?" "Fine. Everything is fine." It was not forgiveness. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was something. A fragile truce. My mother was relieved. She said family was the most important thing. I disagreed. Respect was the most important thing. And respect had to be earned back. Looking back now, I realize the fight was never really about the car. It was about control. My father spent my entire life telling me what I could and could not do, what I should and should not want. Taking my money was his final attempt to control my choices, and suing him was my way of saying no, no more. I am my own person. I make my own decisions, even if those decisions hurt, even if they cost me relationships, because at the end of the day I have to live with myself. And I would rather live with the consequences of standing up for myself than live with the regret of letting someone, even my own father, take away my dreams. The Mustang sits in my garage now, 13,000 miles on the odometer. Every time I slide into that driver's seat, and hear the engine fire up, I remember why I fought. Not for a car, for the principle, for the right to control my own life. For the lesson that sometimes love means saying no, even to the people who raised you. Family is important, but so is self-respect. And nobody, not even your parents, has the right to take that from you. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had to stand up to someone you love, to protect something that mattered to you? Have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and keeping your dignity? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story made you think about your own boundaries, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real-life stories about navigating complicated relationships, and share this with someone who might need to hear that it is okay to fight for yourself. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminded you that your dreams are valid, your hard work matters, and you are worth defending. Take care of yourselves out there.